in the hospital, if I remember correctly, was not a problem. Don't really know what you're doing. Didn't seem to be wrong. Seemed to be okay. But then after like the first 24 hours, I guess the pain would set in. And I was in a small town hospital in the town that I lived in, and they were not helpful at all. So the first 2 weeks were pure hell. I wanted to give up, but I'm very stubborn. You're supposed to have your nipple deep in their mouth, and I wasn't doing that correctly. It's just positioning. It's all about positioning. And because I had nobody to ask, I had no clue if I was doing it right. Just little things that they don't tell you. Like, if you got big breasts, you gotta hold the suckers up. Most women just naturally kind of take 2 fingers like a scissors action and squeeze their nipple. Well, that flattens out the nipple. So here you are trying to get your breast in the child's mouth, and you end up just messing it up. A lot of people, they think of it, you're supposed to get your nipple in the mouth, and it's called breastfeeding for a reason. You've got to get the breast into the mouth instead of just the nipple. If he was teething or something, he'd kind of go through, they call them strikes. He'd give up for a day or so. He went through a stage where he wouldn't take a bottle. So that was another challenge. It just basically took leaving him with my mom and letting him scream it out and get over it. And he finally realized, Mom's not going to show up. I better just take this. When they get teeth, you're supposed to, they tell you, don't do this, don't do that, don't yell at them. Yeah, you get bit, you don't have a choice. You just naturally kind of yell. So I remember my exact reaction, not that it's right, I flicked him in the cheek. It was just a natural reaction. He hurt me, and that's what I did. Well, it scared him. Didn't eat for a day. He was like, no way. So once we got over that, I think we were smooth sailing, and then I stopped the day he turned 1. It's like, this is your last time, buddy. That last day wasn't hard for me, but I thought he would miss it. He could have cared less. It was like, okay, cool, cow's milk, we're on. Then the second time we found out we were pregnant, I don't even think it was a question as far as whether I was going to formula feed or breastfeed. The nurses were just awesome. They were very helpful. They, any questions you have, here's pamphlets, here's this, here's that. We had 2 or 3 different lactation consultants who would come in and talk to me, which lactation consultants are just people who are trained purely for breastfeeding and tips and all that kind of jazz. I know for me, going through all this, I got real frustrated. They were very helpful for me, so I want to be able to do that for someone else who's maybe stuck in that position in the 2-week period thinking, that's it, I'm done. And having somebody say, if you can just hang in there, I promise it gets better. Even looking back on the days that I thought it was the worst decision I ever made and just, not knowing what else to do, I can't imagine doing anything else. It was definitely the best decision for me. And I encourage other people to do it too, but I understand that breastfeeding may not work for everybody. I've had the opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom. So it's easy for me to sit here and say, yes, breastfeeding's best and it's the only way to do it, or it was so convenient because I was at home all the time. I was able to do it whenever I needed to. But just whatever the choice is, I think it's just whatever works for you. And for me, breastfeeding is what was the right choice.